So many of the most popular entrepreneurs and self-help gurus talk about entrepreneurial ADD or entrepreneurial ADHD.
Here's how I manage my ADHD.
Entrepreneurial ADD.
I put all of my ADD into content.
It's basically this tendency to keep on switching, whether it's businesses or funnels or offers, never being able to stick to the same thing. And let me tell you something, I absolutely hate this concept. And the reason why is because it puts an identity on entrepreneur that hurts them more than it helps them. The reason why you think you have entrepreneurial ADHD, this self-diagnosis that doesn't even really exist, is because you haven't done the 5 things that I'm about to tell you in this video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Hadi Solomon. I'm the founder and CEO of Compass, and all I do is I help entrepreneurs get a higher return on their time. The first thing, which is probably one of the most important points, is that you haven't curated your environment well enough. See, the top entrepreneurs understand that productivity isn't even necessarily about discipline or motivation or any of these buzzwords. What it's really about is your environment, because it's much easier to change your environment than it is to change your habits. To really drive this home, let me tell you a story. When American soldiers went to Vietnam, they actually had a problem where they kept abusing heroin. So a lot of people in America were concerned that if those soldiers came back, there would be a heroin problem in America. But there wasn't. You know why? Because all the associations that they had with heroin were in that environment of war where they were in Vietnam. When they moved back to America, they had a whole different set of associations, a whole different identity, and that made it so that the actual percentage of addicted soldiers was a lot lower than the normal population. So again, when we're talking about entrepreneurs today, there's 2 main types of environments that you actually need to curate. Obviously, there's your physical environment. This can be your city, this can be your house, but it can also be your bedroom. If you live in a city with a lot of friends that keep calling you up and telling you, hey, let's go hang out, and that's stopping you from doing the most important thing, then boom, that's an environment problem. If you live in a house where there's construction happening all the time, and that always takes your mind off of stuff, or let's say you're in a bedroom which is just gloomy and you've lived in it for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and you just have some associations with that bedroom that makes you wake up late and go to sleep late. All these things can be changed if you just change your environment. Same thing applies to your digital environment. If you have all these different apps on your phone or on your laptop that lie in the path of least resistance for you, like they're the easiest thing for you to click on, it's because you haven't changed your environment yet. But let me tell you something. You will not be able to properly curate the environment that you want unless you understand the next principle that I'm about to talk about, which is elimination. Elimination is the backbone of productivity. If you look at all the successful people, champions, people that perform optimally for long periods of time, the execution machine, so to speak, they don't have something that you lack. They lack something that you have. They eliminated all the things that were stopping them from getting to their goal. Now, let me put this in an entrepreneurial perspective. Let's say you have a to-do list. An experience that a lot of entrepreneurs go through is they have 10, 15, 20 things on their to-do list. What happens for these entrepreneurs is that by the end of the day, they have all the bullshit done, but the stuff that was actually going to make them money, whether it was the calls, delivering on the landing page, whatever, it can be anything. That thing is never done by the end of the day. Why? Because they allowed themselves to do all the bullshit. And sometimes I hear entrepreneurs say, oh, I do my most important thing first thing in the morning, and then I do everything else. My question to you is, why are you doing stuff that is not important? Steve Jobs says this so eloquently. He says, focusing is not about saying yes, it's about saying no. And Warren Buffett says the difference between really successful people and the most successful people is that the most successful people say no to almost everything. That means they eliminate ruthlessly. This elimination can obviously be relevant to your environment. So again, eliminating YouTube. And unfortunately, my channel may be included in that, so actually I might have to scratch that. It can also be eliminating your Slack channels, where your team keeps bugging you, hey, you got a minute? Or your business partner, or the friends that you have that keep taking your time away. Again, the question is, what are you optimizing for? If you're optimizing for revenue and you're not doing revenue generating activities, eliminate everything that comes in between you and doing that thing. But even if you eliminate all the bullshit, you still will not be able to succeed if you don't prioritize adequately. And this is what I want to nail in for you. The definition of prioritizing is to treat or designate some things as more important than others. Let me tell you a principle that might change your life forever. This is actually something that I took from my mentor, Gary Keller, who owns the largest real estate company in the world called Keller Williams. He wrote a book that was called The One Thing, that literally in its title, not even the book, you don't even need to read the book. I'm about to give you the entire book in one sentence. It summarizes the one principle that you need to actually be as productive as possible. And that principle, ladies and gentlemen, is unparalleled oneness. Gary Keller has a statement that he says in that book. He says, what is the one thing that I can do that will literally shrink everything else into irrelevance? I am telling you, there's always that one thing that exists in your business. Whether it's actually training sales teams or doing reach outs consistently every single day. Again, usually it either gets you more customers or it makes your customers worth more. But another way that you can actually get to what that thing is by asking yourself, what are the things that I would do if I knew I couldn't fail? The things that you would do if you weren't afraid are just the things that you're putting off anyway. And you know what that actually means? That means that the reason why you're not doing it is because you're a pussy. And again, I have hard conversations with entrepreneurs all the time because it's literally my job. Sometimes they have 3 different businesses. They need to prioritize one. How do you prioritize one? By eliminating the others. Sometimes you have 5 funnels, and if none of them are making money, then you have to slash 4 of them. Sometimes you have 5 different channels that you're posting on. It can be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, this principle applies everywhere until you have maximized one channel. Maximizing a channel, maximizing the revenue of a business is very hard. A lot of people think they're making like $1 million a year. Oh, I've maximized this. I need to start another business. No, your business that's doing $1 million a year can probably do $1 million a month. If you weren't a fucking idiot, actually did the activities that would allow you to get to $1 million a month. Next, forcing triggers. And I think this is probably one of the most powerful ones that ADHD entrepreneurs don't understand. The reason why you feel like you work all day, the reason why you don't feel like there's a start or an end to when you work is because there isn't a start or an end to when you work. Never even start working. All you do all day is research. Looking at all these different funnels, and heck, bro, a lot of you guys are funnel hacking me. I had a gym owner recently that went through my entire funnel process, got on a call with me, and then said to me, hey, I've been funnel hacking you the whole time. I'm like, bro, you're not even making money. You just took this time to actually advertise your business and advertise your gym. Maybe you'd be making some money and then you wouldn't have to fucking funnel hack me. It's like when you're funnel hacking and doing all these different things, the reason why is because you don't have a forcing, defined trigger that says this is when you start working on the things that you have prioritized. So this is how you actually implement a forcing trigger. Number 1, you break the task down as much as possible. So you remember the thing that we prioritized, and you break it down as much as possible. Once it's broken down, put it in a Slack channel, put it anywhere. It doesn't fucking matter. Have a time, either on the clock or anywhere else, whether it's a time, just need something that defines when you start working. For me, for example, it's 6 a.m. When I wake up at 6 a.m., I have an accountability coach that is ready to ensure that I'm about to start working on the thing that I've prioritized. This is how I consistently scale. And by the way, these are the systems that we install for all the entrepreneurs that we work with. And if you're interested in these, we're hosting a free 6-week focus challenge for entrepreneurs where we install systems for you that allow you to execute as effortlessly as possible. The link for that will be in the description. Because it's a new offer, I am taking a one-on-one call with you every single week just to ensure everything's running smoothly. We'll assign you a dedicated coach for 6 weeks for free. We're only taking 10 people. Link will be down in the description. You can see if you qualify down below. And the last point, without which every single one of the things that I mentioned before, the environment, the elimination, the prioritization, the forcing trigger, like all of these fall if you don't have accountability. Accountability is the most important thing. And again, this isn't me saying it. You can listen to all these people. Here's the God honest truth. All environments fatigue after a certain point. Sometimes you need somebody to keep you accountable to changing your environment. Sometimes you need somebody to keep you accountable to eliminate the shit that isn't making you money. Sometimes you need somebody to keep you accountable to prioritizing the things that actually make you money. Sometimes you need somebody to keep you accountable to actually start when you have those forcing triggers set. And honestly, that is the most important thing because accountability actually yields consistency. I actually made this graph here that I ripped up for my last video where I compared motivation, discipline, and accountability. And as you can see, these are the 3 different graphs that you have. As you can see at the top, motivation, you have a huge spike and then over time it runs out. This is how most people function, right? They work in these bursts of motivation. Then you have people that are disciplined, right? So people that are disciplined, like work at a consistent pace, but it's not a very high pace for long periods of time. And a lot of times they do it for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they get burnt out. But when you have accountability, you have a constant graph that just keeps going for long periods of time. That's the power of accountability. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you optimize your environment, eliminate all the bullshit, prioritize the right things, set forcing triggers that actually start working, and then install some level of accountability, whether it's your business partner or even a coach that can make sure that all the other ones are constantly being serviced, the environment is constantly being changed, the elimination is constantly happening, the prioritization is in check, and you're actually complying with your forcing triggers, you will beat entrepreneurial ADHD. That's it. Ciao.